And welcome to the third and final module of the online compliance training.
At this point, you have completed Module 1 and Module 2. After you finish this module on Virginia Tech licensing guidelines, you can RSVP to an online training session on Gobbler Connect.
This training will cover Virginia Tech's university licensing guidelines, which outline the use of university logos and licensed items and names. The learning outcomes for this module are to 1. Understand university licensing guidelines as they apply to student organizations, 2. Identify which official university logos and images are available for student organization usage, and 3. Outline the steps of ordering apparel from licensed vendors. When using Virginia Tech verbiage, registered student organizations are permitted to use Hokies and Hokie, the Hokie Bird Head, the Hokie Bird, and the Hokie Tracks. Registered student organizations can also use the University Tartan pattern. If your organization is using any of the listed items, it must be in conjunction with the verbiage at Virginia Tech. If your organization orders merchandise using Virginia Tech verbiage, you are required to use licensed vendors. A list of licensed vendors is on the university's licensing website. Registered student organizations are prohibited from using the athletic VT mark, the university VT mark, the seal, the helmet mark, and/or the youth marks. Nor can registered student organizations use the Virginia Tech name or the letters VT. If you are not using the Greek alphabet, you cannot use acronyms when using Virginia Tech license verbiage. No registered student organization is allowed to be the Virginia Tech Club. For example, the name Virginia Tech Baking Club is a prohibited name. Registered student organizations are not required to include Virginia Tech in the organization's name, so Baking Club would be an approved name for an organization, but the Baking Club would not be allowed to use any protected university names or logos. Organizations with the verbiage at Virginia Tech following the organization's name, you are allowed to use the Hokie Bird and the Hokie Tracks. If you wish to gain permission to use the Hokie Bird and Hokie Tracks, you can submit an organization name change request on Gobbler Connect. When using the Hokie Bird, the logo must stand alone and not overlap another Virginia Tech trademark or text. The only Hokie Birds available for student organization use are the original Hokie Bird and the Hokie Bird Head seen on this slide. Apart from these two logos, no modifications or alternate versions are allowed, including changing the colors. When using the Hokie Tracks, the logo must be left alone with no alterations or overlapping elements. You are allowed to use a single Hokie track or use a pair shown on the slide. This is an overview chart of what elements registered student organizations are allowed to use. Remember, you are only allowed to use the Hokie Bird and Hokie Tracks if you have the verbiage at Virginia Tech in your organization's name. When ordering brand merchandise, your organization must follow the following steps. 1. Decide what merchandise you are looking for. 2. Choose from the list of licensed vendors outlined on the licensing website. 3. Outline how the merchandise will be purchased. 4. Review the university's licensing guidelines outlined on the licensing website. 5. Contact the chosen vendor and submit the design to the licensee. 6. Once the licensee receives approval from the collegiate licensing company, the design will be printed and the merchandise will be made. This concludes the third and final online compliance module. Key takeaways from this module include: the university reserves the right to disapprove any artwork or product that does not align with the university's mission or image. The classification of your organization impacts what official university licensed logos and verbiage you are able to use. The name of your organization impacts what official university licensed logos and verbiage you are able to use. And ordering brand merchandise must be completed through a licensed vendor. Again, if you have any general questions about student organization, you can contact the source. For more specific questions about branding and licensing at Virginia Tech, you can contact University Relations. Linked are also 2 pages for frequently asked questions and guidance.
Your final step is to complete the Module 3 quiz and receive a 100%. Once you have completed all 3 modules and module quizzes, you can RSVP to an online training session on Gobbler Connect. To review the general registration process one more time, your next step is to RSVP on Gobbler Connect for an online Zoom training session. Individuals who RSVP to a session will receive a communication with the Zoom meeting link before the start of the event.
All you need to do is worry about now RSVPing to a registration session on Gobbler Connect. If you have any questions, please reach out to the source.